Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. When I tell you God's been good to me, God has been good to me. He's been so good to me, man. I've just made up in my mind that I was going to sing it and shout it everywhere that I go. And so this is the day that He has made, and I am going to rejoice. I dare you, as we would say back on the playground back in the day, I double dog dare you to give Him the praise, the glory, and to honor. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what it is, man. We got the one and only Becky Tarts in the building on today. We're going to be sitting down and chopping up with her in just a few moments. So make sure you go ahead and hit the share button. Let your folks know the Retro Philosophy Show is on and getting ready to start popping. And I'm telling you, man, Becky Tarts, you're going to love her. You're going to love her. I promise you, you're going to love her. You're going to love her. So keep it locked in. Don't you dare touch that dial, man. We'll be right back after these few messages. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Look at here, man. I got a couple more things I want to talk to you about real quickly, man. Hey, check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Yeah, that right there. Big sales in the building. You already know what it is. You already know what it is.
Keeping it 100.
The fourth annual Biker Jamboree takes place on May 23rd through the 28th. You already know what's going down in Tampa. They might as well call it the takeover, the Tampa Jamboree takeover, because they taking over Tampa, man. They taking over Tampa. So make sure you guys put it on your calendar. Make it a day and don't you dare be late. Since we're there, we also want to give a big fat shout out to my man Sarge down in Jacksonville, Florida. They are getting ready to make it do what it do down there come next month on the 4th. So you want to make sure you check that out as well. The tribute to Black History. It is the Iron Elite event. It's going to be, that's the place. All roads lead to Jacksonville, Florida, come February the 4th. All right. They will be doing the Titan Award giveaway to the two recipients, Mr. Nate. Shout out to Mr. Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. And also to Mama D, all right, and we want to give a shout out to all the previous Titans who have received the Titan Award down through the years, okay? So make sure you put that on your calendar and plan on being in the building. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're going to jump right on into it. I am honored as well as privileged to have the one and only Becky Tarts in the building. Make some proper noise for homegirl. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Becky, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, all right. Well, look, we're excited to have you on the show tonight and to get a chance to find out who this wonderful lady with the beautiful smile is. So tell us, or tell the listening audience who I have the privilege of having on the Retro Philosophy Show tonight. Talk to us.
Okay, well, hi, my name is Becky. That's about it. I ride my motorcycle, and I just enjoy getting to meet new people and see open roads.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is really, really awesome. So how long have you been riding your motorcycle?
And so regularly, I've been riding it for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had my license for 15 years before that, though.
Oh, okay. So hold on. Say that one more time now. I got lost there.
Yeah. So regularly, I've been riding my motorcycle since March of 2014.
Okay.
I received my motorcycle license 15 years before that.
Really? So
Yeah.
How did that play out? How did that happen?
Several of my friends rode back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I got tired of waiting for a backseat to come open for me to go ride with my friends on Sundays.
Right.
So I went to get my license, but then I moved out of the area, so I had no reason to ride. And when I came back into the area, none of my friends are riding anymore.
Okay.
So I just sat on it.
Just sat on it, huh? So what makes Becky Tarts get on her motorcycle and ride? What made you want to ride?
um, for me, riding in 2014, it was my therapy.
Okay.
Before that, it was for fun, but in 2014, it was my therapy.
Okay.
And we can get into it later. Talk about storms. That was a stormy
So
time.
we'll come back to that then. We'll come back to that. Good deal. Okay. So you've been doing your riding, and you live in California, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What part of California?
Southern California, I'm in Highland, which is like 70 miles east of LA.
Okay. Had I known, I would have definitely reached out to you when we came down. But we didn't know you then. We didn't know you then. But we know you now. We know you now. So the next time we come down, which will be very soon, we'll make sure we'll have to get together and ride. And speaking of that, I was checking out your social media page, your Facebook page, and there's this gentleman with such a radiant smile, and we know where he gets it from. And I believe that's your son.
Probably, most likely, yes.
It was really. I was gonna say cute, but it was just really sweet. Let's say that it was sweet because I've been following you, and I noticed that your bike was having some problems that I was having with mine. And so you finally get your bike back. Your son comes home from work, sees that your bike is back, and says, "Mom, let's go cruising."
Yes,
Tell me
yes.
about
That's
tell me about that.
um, you know, he so the motorcycle he rides was my dad's bike.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, so when my dad well when dad first bought the bike, AJ was almost 10.
Okay.
And we knew at that time that AJ would eventually get that bike.
Mm-hmm.
And so then a few years ago, my dad stopped riding, and so the bike came to our house.
Okay.
And he was practicing, and he was supposed to get his permit at 15 and a half, which is how old you have to be in California to get your permit. But COVID was happening,
Right.
and so he didn't actually get his permit until after he was 16.
Gotcha.
But he's been riding ever since.
Nice, nice. So now you've got a riding buddy.
Oh yes,
Okay. Now,
yeah. Well, so the whole reason my dad bought that bike,
uh-huh.
I bought my first Harley on a Sunday, and Monday my dad decided that he didn't want me to ride alone,
Okay.
and so he bought the Fat Boy Friday night.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I'm kind of biased to Fat Boys. Fat Boys, a Fat Boy was the first Harley Davidson that I was personally introduced to, and it was my uncle's. It was my uncle's, and it was. I mean, he had that thing all chromed out. It was just clean, and so I'm a little biased to Fat Boys. I really am. I really am. The bike that you ride now, Heritage, correct? Uh-oh. We still got you there, Becky? Okay, it looks like we got a little bit of freezing going on. Hopefully that
Something happened. I
okay.
lost my internet.
Okay. I can still hear you at this point, but it looks like you're coming back now. Can you hear me good?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, Becky?
Hello?
Okay, I can still hear you.
I lost you.
I'm still here.
Let me refresh.
Okay, she's going to refresh and try to sort that out. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for pressing play. We've got Levi Johnson in the building. What's going on, big guy? Hope all is well with you and yours. We got Belinda Jones in the building. She's watching from Montgomery, Alabama. There we go. We got you back, Becky. How you doing?
Yeah, so the wind is really strong out here, and it makes for funky internet.
Gotcha. Well, we'll just have to do what we got to do, Becky. But in the meantime, we're gonna keep chopping it up. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, good deal. So you've been riding for a little while now. Again, checking out your page. I'm not stalking you, but I was checking out your page. Okay, and I
No.
noticed there were several pictures where you were riding with a large group, and it looked like you were out front. So how often do you ride, and what kind of riding do you do?
I mean, I ride every day. The group, I ride with several different groups.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I'm an independent rider,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I go for group rides, it's usually once every couple months.
Okay.
In California, we don't have a riding season per se,
Right.
so just every couple months we get together and go for a ride.
Yeah. So at what point did you say, you know what, I'm going to take and get on my bike and I'm going to ride from California to Jacksonville, Florida? At what point did you come to that conclusion?
Less than a week before I went.
You got to be kidding me, Becky.
No. So what happened is I was talking to Reef because I was headed over to Alabama this year for the ride to eat,
Okay.
and for Reef and K Solo's ride to eat.
Huh? Shout
And
out,
what's that?
I said shout out to K Solo and Reef in the building, little plug there. But
Uh,
you were talking to Reef. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. So I was talking to Reef, and he said, "Well, since you're coming from California, why don't you do the I-10 end to end?"
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, um, I guess.
Okay.
So, I was like, well, what is it? He's like, well, reach out to Big Sarge, and he'll have all the details and let you know. But basically, you just go from Santa Monica to Jacksonville, and you're done.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Now, that's what you did, and you did indeed. Did you know there was going to be a storm the same time you were going to be passing through?
Okay, so yes,
Okay.
I mean, well, everybody was telling me that a hurricane was coming up. I'm really bad about paying attention to the weather.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera a little bit.
Do what you got to do, sis. You're good.
All right. So, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was nice and sunny in California.
Becky, I love you, girl. I love you.
So everybody was like, "Well, there's a storm happening," and I was, "Well, yeah, but it'll be in southern Florida. I'll be fine. I'm going to the top
Right.
of Florida."
Right.
And the whole thing is I had a certain amount of days,
Mm-hmm.
and my main reason I was going was to meet up with everybody in Alabama for lunch.
Right.
So for me, it made better sense to hustle. I had more time before the event than after the event.
Got you. Got you.
So I needed to get over to Jacksonville and then come back to Alabama
Mm-hmm.
instead of going to Alabama and continuing the journey.
Right. 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 So you had a deadline.
So that
You had a deadline, and you wasn't about to let a hurricane. It's just a hurricane. That's not going to stop my plans. I got to get over and get lunch.
so, well, I mean, so I did promise my family. I said, if it gets too bad,
Uh-huh.
I won't continue the journey.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
I mean, I'm not crazy. I don't have a death wish. I enjoy riding, but I don't necessarily take unnecessary risk.
Okay. So when you're on,
So that's what I did. I got on my motorcycle and I just kept going and figured, I mean, I had to get to Alabama regardless.
right, right,
So whether I continued that extra 500 miles or not, that would be determined as the weather
right.
kept coming.
What was the worst part of the trip for you?
It wasn't even the weather. It was just that stretch of I-10 all the way across Texas.
Oh, so I'm not the only one. Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. You guys are nice because you call it the state of Texas. I call it the galaxy of Texas because it was, my gosh, it was brutal, man. We ran out of gas in Ozona, and it was, oh my goodness, it was, whew, boy, there was a little love-hate thing going on between us in Texas. You know? But so just that stretch going through Texas was probably the worst part of it for you.
Yeah, just because I mean, and it's funny you mentioned Ozona. Ozona's my special little place there in the middle of Texas.
Yeah, yeah. Why so?
So I ended up being stranded there.
Oh, okay.
But I'd actually like broken down 200 miles or 100 miles east of there.
Okay.
But my 888 would only get me to 100 miles.
Right.
So that's how I ended up in Ozona.
So Ozona's got a little bit of juju going on or something to it or something. Because I mean, it just oh boy. But those are all part of the it's all part of the journey and the stories we tell after we finally get back home. You know? We got a few people watching with us on tonight. I want to say good night to my lovely wife. She's watching. She's one of my greatest supporters. I'm so blessed to have her. I got my brother-in-law Troy in the building. He says I don't necessarily take unnecessary risks, and of course he's quoting the one and only Miss Tarts on that one there. But so when Becky Tarts is on the road, who's watching out? Who's worried for you?
Um, I am a church secretary.
Mm-hmm.
And so the entire congregation, I started writing like a month and a half after I started working there, the 9 years ago.
Okay.
And so they've had my back when nobody else even knew I was traveling.
Gotcha.
And so it's the congregation. It's AJ sitting at home,
Mm,
keeping track of me a little bit.
yeah.
I don't tell my dad because he's a worrier. So I let him know when I get to a place
Right.
rather than that I'm going to a place.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. So you work at a church secretary. So you are you going to church with your leather on and your loud motorcycle in the parking lot? Tell me a little bit about that. Do you get funny looks when you roll up and
Yeah, I mean, it's an elderly congregation,
okay?
and the first day that I brought my new bike to the office,
Hmm.
there was an older guy there, and he comes in and he was like, "Oh, did you ride that motorcycle to work?" Thinking that he was, giving me a hard time, and I said, "Yeah, I did,"
Oh boy.
and the rest was history.
Yeah, yeah.
um, it's an older congregation, and back then we had a Bible study that met every Monday and Wednesday,
Nice.
and so when they saw me ride up on a motorcycle, they were they're women of the 40s and the 50s where they weren't allowed
Right.
to do such crazy things.
Yeah.
And so they've always been supportive of me just because they see where the evolution of a woman's independence has come.
Right, right, right. And so
And
are you an
so
independent woman or are you just a woman who rides your motorcycle?
both.
Both. Okay. All right. Hey, I ain't mad at you. Carl says, "What's up, Becky?" He says, "Hey, Carl,
Hey, Carl.
he's
Yeah, Carl was supposed to come out here and stay with me on his I-10 trip.
yeah, he's gonna make it the next time. He's gonna get there. He's a persistent fella. He's gonna get there. He's gonna get there. I'm looking forward to seeing him in Jacksonville and here in just a couple weeks. And I don't take it you're gonna be heading back down to Jacksonville for the event.
I was supposed to be.
Okay.
I had my time off. I was gonna leave on the 31st. I have my room reserved, and then a member of the congregation passed away yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, my condolences.
And the whole thing is, as a church secretary,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me, just because of the relationship that I have with every member,
Mm-hmm.
it's a family member that dies.
Yeah,
Even though they're not blood related,
right.
and so I want to make sure. So when I say I'm going to be somewhere, it's God willing, creek don't rise, and nobody dies.
Right, 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 right.
Because if somebody dies, then I feel it's my place to stay and make sure that their family makes it through the situation.
Well, God bless you.
And it just happened that his funeral is now scheduled for February 4th. So
Okay. Okay.
Sadly, no I-10 reunion for me
Well,
this time.
I can understand. I can understand. And sometimes we have to make choices, and the right choice is not always the choice that makes us feel good. And in some cases, so again, my condolences, and I can appreciate you making that choice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell me, I do word association sometime, and I'm gonna just throw a word out there, and I just want you to give me your gut reaction.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. I am very sure. I'll go easy.
Okay.
I'll go easy. The first one is leadership.
Friends.
Friends? Talk to me a little about that. Elaborate if you would.
Well, because for me, to be a leader, you need to have friends supporting you.
Okay. 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 Okay.
My nickname was given to me because, well, it's Becky the Road Captain,
Oh,
and it was given to me by friends. 'Cause, they were acquaintances at the time. They're friends now,
yeah.
and so that to me is, yeah, leadership is friendship. It's because you didn't get there by yourself.
That is real talk. That is real talk. Let me throw another one out there. Betrayal.
Sadly, my instinct was family.
Wow. 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 Yeah, it happens like that sometimes. It happens like that sometimes. Talk to me, Becky, about if you could. Here on the Retro Philosophy Show, we don't like to push and we don't like to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But if you're willing to, talk to me about an experience that involved betrayal with you in your life.
Mm. I mean, I've been very blessed. Um, I can't really point out
Hmm.
anything specifically with me. It's the drama that happens in other people's lives
Right.
where I put that betrayal and family together.
Okay, understood, understood. So tonight's topic is surviving the storm, and I chose that, of course, because you rode through hurricane to go to Alabama and get a burger. But that's how much it meant to you to get there to hang out with friends, right? And
Yes.
so you weathered that storm, but has Becky Tarts had to weather any storms in life?
So, yeah, I mean, life is full of storms.
Mhm.
It's what you make of it
Mhm.
coming out the other end. I told you that motorcycles are freedom, and they were my therapy.
Mhm.
My husband passed away
Oh,
February 1st of 2014.
wow, my condolences, Becky.
And he had cancer. He'd been fighting it for 3 years.
Mhm.
And the reason I had a license for 15 years, in addition to what I talked to you about, is I was riding when I met him.
Mhm.
He didn't ride, and then we got pregnant, and so I stopped riding.
Gotcha.
But I told him, I would be riding. I would raise our child to be independent.
Mhm.
So when they turned 10, I was going to be riding again. That was like the agreement. He didn't necessarily like it, but he accepted the fact that, okay, riding, you enjoy riding, we'll raise him to be independent. So if something happens, he'll be okay. That was my whole mentality, was I'll make sure that this child will be okay without a mom if something happens, because I am going to ride when he's 10 again, when he turns 10. That was just, riding to me was so important.
Mhm.
I wasn't willing to give it up for the rest of my life.
Understood.
Well, then when Willie was diagnosed with cancer, and we knew absolutely no, it came out of nowhere. Um, a Christmas Eve, we ended up in the emergency room,
Wow.
and it was stage 4 cancer before we even knew he had cancer.
Mhm.
So I told him, sitting in that first oncology appointment, this time age I was 6. And I told him, I said, if you let this cancer beat you, I'm going to take the life insurance money. I'm going to buy me a brand new motorcycle. And for me, that was, I wanted that to be motivation for him.
Right. Yeah.
And it worked for 3 years.
Yeah.
But the body, you're only allowed, it can only take so much. He was tired.
Yeah.
And I remember the day he died, going to the backyard, and I was upset because not only had I lost my husband, but the question of me being able, because AJ was 9 at this time. So, it was in February, AJ would have turned 10 in May. And so to take the chance of, well, he's already half an orphan. No matter how independent I raised him to be, I didn't feel comfortable riding again for the chance of making him a complete total orphan.
Right.
And so I had to do a lot of soul searching.
Okay.
Because yes, I'm a person of my word, and I told him I was going to buy me a motorcycle. In both, the fact that they, unfortunately, cancer had taken over. But then my son was on that borderline of turning 10. And so that's, I went to the dealership that day just to look, because it was in March and AJ was turning 10 in May. I decided I wanted to go ahead and ride anyway, but I wasn't going to be, do anything crazy. I was just going to ride because I wanted to do that. And my dad had moved out to California by then, and he had, come to California. He had a motorcycle when he arrived. And so, I knew that I wanted to ride again. And so I talked to AJ. Like I said, he was 9, but I'd raised him to be independent. So he's always been a very, a lot more mature than a typical kid.
Gotcha.
By purpose, but by intentionally. He was raised that way. And so I explained to him, well, I had planned on riding again. How do you feel about it? Okay, it's all right with me.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize is that therapy, when I would be riding, the open road after I bought my bike, it was, I would, I would be out there on the open road and I would be bawling my eyes out. When I'd stop, oh, well, it was just the wind in my eyes. It's not that I was crying.
No, you were. That was just the wind.
It was the wind in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, but that's where I worked out a lot of my emotions and my feelings. Putting, just finding an open road and leading it, following it until I didn't know where I was going next.
Right. Well, we thank you for sharing, Becky. And at what point was it where you said, you know what, I'm just going to get out here and I'm going to ride? Because you said you wasn't going to do anything crazy, maybe just around the block here or there. But at what point did you say, okay, you know what, this is it. I'm here. I'm doing this.
So when I first bought my bike, I grew up in Nebraska. And so to me, like the ultimate biker destination was Sturgis. Because it was only 8 hours from my hometown. And my dad had gone there growing up. And so that was like, oh, but that was all I knew.
Yeah.
I remember when I bought my bike, I told my dad, I said, I can finally go to Sturgis. And he said, no, you're not. I said, Dad, I'm 35 years old. You can't exactly tell me what to do anymore.
Yeah.
But to me, like Sturgis, I'm going to ride my motorcycle. That was like the big thing. But then I went to the Beautiful Bikers Conference in Long Beach.
Okay.
And Portia Taylor and Secret, she put on this amazing conference where I met all these women riders. And, yes, at that point, I had gone to Sturgis, ridden my motorcycle from California to Sturgis. But, that was like, well, what's next? So at the Beautiful Bikers Conference, I met, women who were going cross country. Mm-hmm. And they were seeing the world on motorcycles. And it got me excited.
Yeah.
So, versus just going halfway across the country, I wanted to go all the way across the country. Mm-hmm. Or instead of just staying in the United States, let me go to Canada. Uh-huh. Or let me go south and visit our neighbors in Mexico.
Nice.
And so that was my turning point, the Beautiful Bikers Conference in 2016. So I've been riding for almost 2 years at that point.
Yeah. Well, this is for you, Becky. And this is for you, Becky. Yeah. Well deserved. Congratulations. And I must say that you ladies are really turning it up. So you have gone to Mexico?
Oh yeah, several times.
Okay.
Well, only Baja and Rocky Point, so it's barely mainland Mexico.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the places you've gone. So you've gone to Mexico. Did you say you did Canada?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, maybe it'd be easier to talk about where you haven't gone. Which one would be easier?
Well, I haven't been outside those 3 countries.
So let's do this.
I haven't been to the New England states.
Okay. What part of New England would you like to visit?
Well, I have 6 more states I have to get before I make my 48.
Okay, Becky, you are a beast, man. So which 6 states are those?
Oh, let's see. It would be Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, New Hampshire, whatever those tiny New England states are.
Yeah.
Up there in the corner.
Yeah.
Those last 6 are, I made it to New York and I made it to New York and then I went up through Canada to Niagara Falls. Right. But I didn't get so New York and Pennsylvania, but anywhere northeast of there I haven't gotten yet.
Gotcha. So Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont. Let's see what else is up there. Maine.
I think I made it to Rhode Island because that's below New York, right? Or no, that's New Jersey.
Yeah, that's New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. Rhode Island.
You ain't playing no games. You ain't playing no games. So, what is your next trip that you have planned?
Well, it was supposed to be Jacksonville.
Okay, right.
So, I don't know where I'm going next. I just have a few, a few local gatherings. In April I'll be going to Las Vegas. Hey, baby, come here. So here's that boy now.
That's the biker boy. What's going on, AJ? How you doing, man?
You have to come in a little bit.
Man, I've been watching you, AJ, man. I've been watching you, brother, man. You keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate it. I will.
Next time I come out to California, I want to say I got to ride with AJ.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the highlight of the trip for me to say I rode with my man, AJ. All right, AJ. So keep that fat boy fired up. All right, man.
I will.
Because I'm coming out there to see you.
He's just getting in from work.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh, now the dogs are excited. They have to go through their evening routine. It's gonna get loud up in here for a second.
That's okay. It's understandable. We got Preach Breed in the building. He said, "Love the work, no games at all." So have you had a chance to meet Preach Breed?
I don't believe so.
He's out in Vegas. He's a rare breed, but he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. If you ever through the Vegas area, make sure you hit him up, man. Good dude, really good dude.
I might meet him because I think we're the West Coast female ride is happening in Vegas. I
Okay.
want to say that we're at the clubhouse
Okay. Okay.
one of the nights.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Again, man, hats off to you ladies, man, because you guys are rocking it like it ain't nobody's business, man. And I absolutely love it. Let's see here. Preach said, I have not, but we definitely can share the road. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about, man. You know, sharing the road. And I'm going to tell you the truth. To me, that's the only way to do it, you know, sharing that road. And I love it because, you know, people like yourself, Becky, people like Preach Bree, Carl, and so many others out there, even Jason Jiggets in the building, Mr. Percolator, you know, are always willing to share information. You know, information is best shared than it is hoarded. You know what I mean? Um, Becky, you got to get New England. Let's see, that's my neck of the woods. To be honest with you, that's where I was born and raised in Massachusetts. When you get ready to hit those states up that way, man, let reach out and let me know. Reach out and let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I might have to
you know,
escort you through that corridor.
so since my trip to Jacksonville has been canceled, I have an extra week of vacation freed up.
There you go.
So maybe it'll happen this year.
There you go. There you go. Let me know. Let me know. We're actually planning on being up that way in the end of April. And we may end up being back up there, you know, even sooner. I mean, excuse me, even after that. But at any rate, keep us informed and let us know. How long were you married? I want to go back to that for a moment, Becky. How long were you married to your husband?
Let's see. Well, we met in 2002. We didn't actually get married until 2006.
Okay.
And then he passed away in 2014. So 8 years we were married.
Yeah.
But we were together for 12.
Right.
The numbers add up that way.
So when you're out there, your motorcycle, when you're riding, that's your therapy. What was your husband's name?
Willie.
Willie. Does Willie talk to you? Do you hear Willie's heart? Do you hear his voice when you're out there riding?
Not so much anymore.
Okay.
In the early days, yeah. Now it's more my meditation to solve other problems out there. If I'm having a bad day or if I'm trying to work something out, I'll hit the road and work out those problems out there too.
Nice. Let's dig into the early years of Becky Tarts. How was it growing up in Nebraska?
Oh, I mean, I was at the time I was a city girl. It was the third largest city in the state.
Okay.
A population of, I think growing up it was like 28,000 people. And it was a big city.
big city. Big city.
And now I think it has maybe like 36,000, you know, in Grand Island, Nebraska. If anybody goes through Nebraska on I-80, you're going to come across Grand Island.
Nice.
And so, you know, actually, that's where I started riding on the back. Both of my parents rode growing up.
Okay.
You know, my dad had a Goldwing and my mom had a little Suzuki 750.
Mm-hmm.
And so for our Sunday ride, or, you know, Sunday drive in the 80s, you know, you did Sunday drives. We did a Sunday ride. I would ride with my dad and my sister would ride with my mom.
Nice.
So, yeah, in fourth grade, I went on my first poker run.
Nice. We got Shaquilla Bussey in the building. She says, "Hey, Becky, are you going to the Iron Elite in Jacksonville?" You want to answer that again, Becky?
Sadly, no. I was supposed to.
Yeah, she's experienced some death in her church family, and being the church secretary, she feels that it's necessary to stay behind and help console the families and everything, which is a stand-up thing to do, and that's really awesome. It speaks volumes about your character, Becky, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Thank you.
Grand Island is in the house. Shaquilla Boosie, let's see here now. She's got some stuff going on in April. And I don't know.
Got a new school opening
She's
up,
got a new
right?
school opening up. Yeah, the Motor Mob grand opening happening. And oh, wait a minute. Now my little graphics just disappeared on me. Oh, don't tell me I'm okay. All right, there we go. There we go. I ain't trying to shortchange my homegirl. You know, my little graphics act like they want to glitch on me and everything. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I told you I was going to get the graphic for you, and there it is, right there, Memphis, Tennessee, grand opening. The Moto Mob, April 8th, 2023, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you put that on your calendar, make it a date, and don't be late. Okay. I'm definitely gonna be up in the house on that. She wants to know what's the next long distance ride for you.
Yeah, like I said, I mean Jacksonville was supposed to be it. I don't know. Like I said, now that I have the extra, I mean, there'll be ride to eat in Texas, but that's not, that's 1,000 miles. That's not very far.
That's pocket change, right, Becky?
Pretty much, maybe 1,200 miles from here.
Yeah.
So like I said, I thought I had my vacations planned out, but now that I have the extra week, maybe I'll head up to New England, stop in Detroit, visit my mother-in-law,
Okay.
and then head to northeast from there.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, you're leaving for Rhode Island Saturday. Okay. When you take off Saturday morning, let's find out how Becky travels. Are you packing heavy? Are you packing light? What are you bringing with you? What are you leaving behind? How many miles are you riding for the day? Talk to me about the way Becky travels.
So when I'm with other people versus when I'm by myself, it's two different setups.
Understood.
When I'm with other people, we go 500 or 600 miles a day. When I'm by myself, I go until I'm tired, sun up to sundown. What I pack, whatever fits in my saddlebags. I have this big luggage, that sits on the back seat, but I don't use that anymore. It seems to be overkill.
Okay.
I've learned over the years that I don't really need that much when I'm traveling. 2-3 days of clothing. I stop and visit friends along the way so I can wash my clothes, at their house, and so I don't need all the a week or 10 days worth of clothes like I once thought I did when I was riding.
Right. So you said sun up to sundown. So typically for you, how many miles are you smashing out from sun up to sundown?
Like 850 maybe.
About
850.
Okay. Okay. What's your cruising speed?
Next question.
Okay. All right. Next question. Hey, you never know who's watching, right? Next question. Okay.
No. Yeah, usually it's like 10 or 15 over the speed limit. And I don't, I discovered that with Harley, you can so it only allows you to set the cruise at 90. If you're going downhill though, you can push it to like 92.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually I try to stay closer to the speed limit.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's good rule of thumb there. 10 is a very comfortable, usually they don't mess with you too much. So you're smashing about anywhere from 8 to 850 if you're riding by yourself. Tell me the benefits in your opinion or the difference riding solo on a long distance versus riding with a crowd.
You set your own schedule. I mean, I love riding with my friends. I do. But when you're riding with other people, you feel responsible for them.
Mhm.
And if I'm by myself, I only have to worry about me. If I'm tired, I stop. If I'm, I go to sleep and I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't have to wait until daylight to hit the road if I feel like I'm gonna be awake longer than a few minutes. So to be able to go at my own schedule, as the mood phases me. If I want to stop in the middle of the day and and see something and stop at a picnic area or take a nap, because the sun feels great.
Yeah.
To be able to, when you're by yourself, to have that luxury.
Yeah.
Is, for me is nice.
Okay, we've got a question coming from Shakila, and so we're going to put that on the screen, and I wanted to see if you could answer that. She says, "At the end of your life, what legacy do you want to leave to the world?"
Dang, that's a hard question. Um,
What does Becky want?
you know, I think ultimately it's just, the way I live my life now is tomorrow is not promised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not I'm not waiting until retirement to do what I want to do. With the death of my husband, he was only 40 years old.
Wow.
Well, he was 40 when he was diagnosed. 40 he died before his 43rd birthday. And so I know that tomorrow is not promised. And so to set by example, show by example, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you don't want to wait. Um, you know, I my first one of my first rides that I ended up in it was I left at 7 in the morning. I got home at like 11 at night. I ended up going up to Yosemite
Nice.
Yosemite National Park from Southern California. That was my first. It was like 850-mile day. It just by accident. I didn't intend to go that far that day, but I did. Um, but there was like a tour bus on going, and on the door it said, "Adventure before dementia."
I like that.
And to me, that resonated. It was like, yes, I don't want to get to that point. So just to, but my legacy, it's my son. That they say that your contribution, greatest contribution, may not be something you do, but someone you leave behind.
Mm.
And I think that AJ is that legacy.
Okay, that's good. I like that. I like that. What is the best advice or the most frequent advice that Becky Tart shares?
Uh, Advice I share. I guess when people are asking, hey, should I, how do I start writing? Will you teach me? I said, go to the class and learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's the best place to start.
Mm-hmm.
It's the foundation of your freedom, your next adventure. If you know how to ride properly versus, oh, my cousin taught me, or my dad rode all these years, so I know how.
Right, right, right. That's good advice. That's good advice. So often people have, they re-practice bad habits to begin with, you know. And I heard one guy break it down. He says, there are people who said they've been riding for 20 years, but really all they've been doing is rehearsing the same bad habits for 20 years, but they haven't been progressing as a rider. At what point in your life, Becky, was it that you realized you had to take anything for that matter to another level?
Hmm. You have hard questions. I was supposed to be simple stuff.
Okay, let me see if I can ask it a different way. Let me see if I can ask it a different way. A gentleman told me years ago, and it changed my life. It really did. He told me, he said, "Young man, forget what you think you know and learn what you don't." Okay. And at that point, I realized that I had to take life to the next level. I had to revisit a lot of stuff that I thought I knew. Just because of that whole, perception change that took place. Was there anything in your life that you were doing one way and then you found out there was a better way of doing it?
parenthood.
Okay. Yeah.
You as a single aunt, you have lots of advice for your sisters and brothers on how they're raising their children.
Hmm.
But then when your own child comes along, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah. That is so true. That is so true. I used to want a lot of kids, Becky, until yeah, I had my first son, and I realized how much work went into it, and I started rethinking 7 kids and realized that 2 was good enough.
Good choice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're expensive.
They are, but they're both good kids. If I knew then what I know now, I would have probably at least had 3 or 4, at least, at least. Um, so you've got to get New England State. You're going to be getting up there sometime soon. Tell us something that we should know about Becky Tarts, because in life, I think a lot of times people get overlooked and people don't get the credit that they deserve. And sometimes we see someone in the church secretary in the church office, but we have no idea that they're the owner of that motorcycle out front. Is there anything about Becky Tarts that you would like the world to know?
I don't need the notoriety. I just want to live a simple life,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy my friends who are family. Um, it's like this, even this interview. It's like, I mean, I just ride a motorcycle. There's other people who are doing the same thing and putting in a lot more miles than I do.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to live my life to the fullest. I don't need the accolades that go along with that.
Now, you don't need the accolades, and I can definitely rock with that, but sometimes the very people who understand that concept, they are a necessity for society. Does that make sense? And, and,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to interview you because you had spunk. I wanted to interview you because you had courage. I wanted to interview you because you were unique, you know, and it was just something about you that just captivated my attention. And I'm glad that you agreed to come on the show because I've really enjoyed talking with you on tonight. And It's people like you that make the world go round, because in life we meet so many people who are stuck on themselves, who are stingy, and there's so many other adjectives that we can throw in there as well as explicatives, but when you meet someone with a kind, warm, genuine smile, it repays the experience with all the, can I say this on the Retro Philosophy Show, the buttholes? Can I say that? Okay. And so thank you for your smile, and thank you for just being who you are, Becky. um,
Yeah, absolutely.
we have another question, and ladies and gentlemen, feel free. The telephone number is 980-222-4492. If you had any questions for Becky Tarts on tonight, and you are more than welcome to give us a phone call on tonight. Shakila Bussy, she says, "Have you ever been scared riding alone, and if so, what situation were you in?"
I haven't. Um, I guess because for me, because of my beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in a situation that has me nervous, I send up a prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and that puts me at peace.
Nice.
Um, even like in weather and stuff. Jim, oh my goodness. Now I'm drawing a blank at his last name. Jim in Florida.
Okay.
Used to live in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, like going, the whole hurricane thing.
Yeah.
It was downgraded to a tropical storm by the time I got there.
Okay.
So it wasn't really a storm, or it was a storm, but it wasn't a hurricane.
Yeah.
But well, I guess no, I take that back. Okay, I'd gotten into my own head
Uh-huh.
in 2018, my first cross country trip. I went from here to North Carolina, and I was trying to get my 24 states to be part of the Have Iron Will Travel. I was an admin, but I didn't even have my patch at that time.
Okay.
Because I hadn't gotten to 24 states. But so I went from here to North Carolina, and I picked up Florida and Alabama, blah, blah, blah. Well, I made a rookie mistake, and I went sliding down the side of the road outside of New Orleans on my Sportster. And it wasn't that I was in my head because I was freaking out. I was along the side of the road, and I just knew that an alligator was going to come out of those bushes. And it sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was in my head, and I just knew that, and I had no protection, and I just knew that was going to be the end of me. So I just got, I stayed on the cement. I had a clear space around me to make sure that if it was coming for me, I would see it.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about this slide. How'd that come about? What happened?
Mistake. So I decided at the last minute I wanted to pick up the Florida border. So I went from Atlanta. I stayed the night in Atlanta with a cousin, and then I was headed home, and then I like backtracked a little bit. I couldn't even tell you what path I took. I just kind of like kept following signs saying, okay, this is here and this is there. I didn't have a map. I had no clue. I just knew that eventually I needed to go west because I would get home if I pointed the bike west. So I made it to like Louisiana, and I was like, oh wait, I was in Alabama, and I was like, oh, I'm so close, I could go to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And get my my state. So I did a bunch of backtracking that day, but it was toward night, and I don't like to necessarily ride after dark, especially not in areas that I'm not familiar.
Right.
And so I knew I needed to get fuel in New Orleans. Like that was like from my one gas stop to my next. I figured that would be a good safe spot to get fuel. What I didn't know is that in New Orleans, it's all bridges. Like the interstate system is bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I was like, okay, I'll just, I'll get to New Orleans. Instead of stopping and going into the city, because I don't know what the traffic will be like and it's late at night. Yeah. Let me just get through the city, and then I'll get fuel, off the interstate. If you've ever been on I-10 around New Orleans, there's no such thing as fuel off the interstate.
Right.
At least not that night. Again, it was lack of knowledge. Mm-hmm. and overconfidence, I guess. So I made it to the on-ramp. I made it to an on-ramp when I knew that I needed fuel, but that on-ramp was closed. I wasn't close to the exit on the one. The second one, I knew, I need fuel. That one was closed. So I kept pushing because I figured, well, eventually I'll come into to fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not. So I get off the interstate, and it was like St. James Parish was the signage.
Okay.
And so I go down this side road because my fuel light's blinking, and I know I'm going to run out of fuel. I need to get fuel. And so I take this side road, or a highway, go into a city, thinking, okay, this township or whatever should have a gas station.
Right.
But I didn't know it was like another 30 miles down the road, because I wasn't familiar with the area. Now I'm more familiar with the area. But so I'm going, and I see the fuel stop.
Yeah.
Well, in most places, especially where I've been, okay, if it was like at an interchange, And so I did, instead of exiting to the other highway, I figured I would just go over and I could take the side road to go to the gas station.
Right.
Well, there wasn't, you had to get on the other highway
Wow.
to get to the gas station.
Huh?
And so again, it's, you know, it was like 9 o'clock at night. It's dark. I'm in my head about the alligators are going to come up off of the, off of the side onto the road. You know, I'm cold. I'm tired. I'm almost out of fuel, and I don't know. You know, I don't know where I am. And so I make it to, you know, this exit that says St. James Parish,
Mm-hmm.
and I go because I see all these lights. I was like, okay, there's got to be fuel here. There were a bunch of manufacturing places.
Okay.
It wasn't, and they were all lit up because they were like gated in properties.
Uh-huh.
So there was no fuel, and I went up to one guard station, and they wouldn't even open the gate, so I couldn't get any information where the nearest fuel stop was. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I know for sure that there was that gas station back there. Let me just get back on the highway and I'll go. So I start going back the way I came, and I don't know. I mean, I thought I was going like 30 miles an hour. The on ramp to go back was like it was at the last minute, so I started to turn, and I caught gravel.
Ooh.
You know, on the on ramp, and so the bike, you know, at first when I went into the turn, because it was a right turn, um, it bounced on the right. I had the highway pegs, so what I understand, you know, it hit the right side of the bike and then it bounced back up, and then I was sliding down the road on the left side.
Oh, yep.
But my, you know, my engine guard and my saddlebags took the brunt of the hit.
Okay.
I held on to the bike, and yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that's how I went sliding down the road in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
Rookie mistakes.
well, the good thing is, you know, Mr. Alligator didn't come and get you, so that was good. That was good, you know. And so was that the only time you've been down?
Yeah, that's the only time where I went down when I was in motion.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, then I was the next time what took my the next time it happened in January of 20, so that was May of 18, and then January of 2020, right before COVID. I was sitting at a stop sign,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a car accident in front of me.
Gotcha.
But there was a car making the turn onto the street I was, and a car coming straight, and I got swept up in their nonsense.
Wow. Wow. That's
So again, I was very blessed.
yeah.
You know, the position of the bike. I ended up on a curb instead of, you know, being knocked down, and yeah,
Okay.
it's
Well,
part of riding, though, right?
yeah, yeah, that's a fact. You know, they say, you know, you've either already gone down or you're gonna go down, and you just got to get back up. You know, you just got to get back up. I think we've all been down at least once or twice. Speaking of motorcycles, Becky, some people are Harley till they die. If money was no object and you had to go get another motorcycle tomorrow, what would it be?
You know what? I've I I always thought that Harley was the way to go.
Huh?
Until a buddy of mine needed me to help him move. He had two motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a road glide, and he had an Indian chief
Yep.
chieftain.
Yep. Yep.
The little one. It doesn't have the big back on. It's just the saddlebags. It's kind of like a street glide.
Right. Right.
The Harley, you know, street glide.
Okay.
And so he rode his Harley, and he had me ride the Indian. And I've been avoiding. Okay, so so since 16, when I went to the Beautiful Bikers Conference,
Yeah.
Portia was riding. She was on a Victory at that time,
Those are,
and Victory and Indian were together, and she'd been preaching about how Indian was the far superior bike,
yeah.
and I just absolutely refused. Oh no, I'm a Harley person, blah blah blah. But I honestly think that if I were to go, like my next bike, it will be that Indian Chieftain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chief.
Yeah. I've
Chief.
been.
I don't even know what it's called, but it
So
was so smooth.
yeah.
And I'll have to switch out my wardrobe because I have an entire closet full
Of Harley stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
full of Harley stuff.
Well, there's marketplace.
But I think my next bike will be that Indian.
I'm with you on that. I mean, 100%. I've been looking at those things and I'm scared to go test ride one.
Don't. It'll
Yeah,
ruin you.
yeah.
It will ruin you. And that's why for years I resisted. No, I don't need to do that. I'm a Harley person. But because I was doing a favor for a friend,
yeah. I think he
and I was ruined.
I think he intentionally had you ride the Indian while he ride the road. I think he knew what he was doing. I think he knew what he was doing. Becky, it's been a pleasure sitting here chopping it up with you, and hopefully this won't be the last. Maybe we can get together at a later date, and once you get the rest of the New England states, and if we can make it happen, we would love to even join you on that journey up through that corridor. But we'll just see how that plays out. Is there any final remarks? Anything you would like to leave the listening audience with?
Just thank you. Thank you for having me. You made it a lot easier than I anticipated. I mean, yeah, there were some hard questions, but I'd never really done an interview,
Okay.
per se. And so, other than the little technical issues we had at the beginning,
Yeah.
it was overall good. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, I appreciate you stalking my page and getting to know AJ a little bit because
Yeah.
he really is like that. He's my legacy. He's my pride and joy. My family set me up with a good foundation, and I hope we've been blessed with positive male role models
Good.
to help since my husband has passed away. So
That's good. That's good.
really just enjoy the road. It's waiting. Don't wait. Don't retire to see the country. Basically,
Right. Do it while you can still remember it. Yeah. Well, Becky, we thank you for being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. You did a great job. You really did. You did a great job. I would not have known this was your first, interview, if you will. You have a bubbly personality, and I just want to encourage you to continue to press your way through whatever storm may come your way. And I can see those little old ladies at that church waiting for you on Sunday morning to show up. I could just see that. I can see that, that you are probably their highlight for the week. They waiting to hear your stories, where you've been, where you're going next, and things like.
well, there's one lady I forgot to share this one. I want one bit more. We were almost done, but so people are like, don't don't you worry when you're out there about being alone? And I said, no, there's a little lady. She said, I worry all the time. She's actually, her son is AJ's drum teacher.
Okay.
But she said, I worry about you out there on your motorcycle by yourself. And I said, Barbara, I appreciate that because if you're worrying, I don't have to.
I like that.
And so I just, yeah, those, they're what's keeping me alive. What keeps me safe out on the road is their prayers. They say grandmother's prayers.
Yeah.
I have so many.
And I know I'm trying to wrap this up. I'm not in a rush, but anyway, so the church that you belong to is primarily an older church, older congregants, correct?
Yes.
But are there any young people there at all?
Uh, not. I mean, I was the youth minister for a while,
Oh,
and I mean there was about 8 or 10, kids in 6th to 12th grade level. But life gets in the way,
yeah, yeah,
and so I mean there are younger, but it's like we have those kids, and then we have their grandparents. Their parents don't even make it a priority anymore.
yeah, 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 yeah. So you never thought motorcycle ministry or anything like that, anything along those lines?
No.
Yeah, okay. I just thought I'd ask. Well, Becky, again, we want to thank you for being with us on tonight. If there's ever anything that we can do here, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. Okay.
All right.
All right. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. Next time we're in the California area, we are definitely going to look you up. All right.
Yes, exit 79 off 10.
Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. We'll be in touch, Bex. Thanks again. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the one and only Becky Tarts. It was a pleasure just sitting here chopping it up with her, and I really mean it. When you meet good people, you really have to appreciate it. And I really believe that she is good people. My wife says, "Thank you, Becky, for coming on the show. Great conversation." And then Shaquila Bussy, we praying for you, homegirl. We praying for you, homegirl, because she's talking about them boobs on them Harleys, because the Indian and the Chieftain and the Challenger and all them don't do it like the Harley do and everything. But we know God ain't through with you. He's still working on you. He's still working on your Bussy. Bussy, excuse me. Look at here, man. We want to thank everybody who pressed play on this evening to be a part of the Retro Philosophy Show. By way of announcement, I just want to remind you of some of the things that we have going on. And when I say we, I'm talking about in the motorcycle community. Okay. And again, you got my boy Big Sal down there in Atlanta. But he'll be in Tampa, all right, Tampa, Florida, for the fourth annual Biker Jamboree, May 23rd through the 28th. What's up, Big Sal?
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Sell. You still keeping it 100.
So Sel and his team, because it's United Bikers and Fast Harleys only, but what they're doing is they're really trying to make this. They're trying to turn this thing into like a vacation destination type of thing. So you can go down there, you can have your fun, and he's got a whole bunch of entertainers lined up and everything, some comedians and everything. So it's going to be a good event. You guys make sure you put it on your calendar and go and check out Big Sale and United Bikers. And everybody else is going to be down there in Tampa for the Tampa Jamboree. All right. Also, let's not forget the one and only Shaquila Bussy, aka the Mileage Bully. She's coming to Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. She's coming to Memphis, Tennessee to make it do what it do. Moto Mob in the building. Grand opening, 2760 North Germantown Parkway in Memphis, Tennessee. All right. And that's April the 8th. April the 8th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're in need of a hotel, the hotel information is right there on the flyer. You can find this information on the Retro Philosophy page. You can also go over to Shaquila Bussy's page, aka the Mileage Bully, and all that information will be readily available. If you're booking your hotel, use the code MOTOMOB. Okay, MOTOMOB is the code to use. And again, that's April the 8th, 2023. All roads lead to where? Memphis, Tennessee. What's up, Shaquila? Congratulations to you. Hashtag the world is yours. Hashtag God is dope. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Retro, man. It's been fun, but I got to run. Again, we want to thank everybody. Hey, Richard Blackwell, what's going on, brother? How are you doing, sir? He said, please pray for the family of our Bishop Jackson as he has went home to be with the Lord. My condolences, brother Richard. My condolences. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, join with me in a brief word of prayer on behalf of the family of Bishop Jackson. Dear God, we thank you for your grace and mercy, for your love and compassion. And we thank you, Lord God, even for the Jackson family, as you have called a soldier from earth to glory. We thank you, Lord God, for his life and for the legacy that he leaves behind for his family and loved ones. But dear God, we ask that during this time of bereavement, that you would comfort their hearts and that that you would remind them that even in difficult times like these, they can run to you because you are the one that can strengthen us. You are the one that can comfort our hearts. You are the one that can give us complete understanding. And so, Father, we lift up the family right now and we ask that you would be with them, guide them, and lead them in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Richard, thank you for sharing that information with us, and we will continue to keep you as well as the Jackson family in our prayers. My mother used to always say, "Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal." And whenever God calls his people from earth or from labor to reward, we know that he does not make any mistakes. However, the family still has to go through the process of grieving. And so our prayers will be to that extent, that God will comfort them during their time of bereavement. He was one of the founders of the Coalition of Christian Bikers. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, man. Thank you for sharing that information with us on tonight, Richard. If there's anything that I can do, man, you've got my information. You know how to reach me, brother. Just let me know. But those of you who are still watching, let us keep them in our prayers. When you go into your prayer closet and you into your time of prayer, please remember the Jackson family and all those who are touched by the loss of such a great individual. We know Jesus smiled and gave him a pat on the back when he arrived. Amen. Well done, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Enter into your rest. Amen. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to make sure that we are ready to leave here. We don't know when, but we got to stay ready. We got to stay ready. No man knows the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man shall return. So we want to again thank everybody for being with us on tonight. We're going to go ahead and get out your way. I got a beautiful wife in the other room that I get ready to go cuddle with because you already know what it is. You know what I mean? So we'll catch you guys on the next go round. We've got a few more interviews lined up, so you guys just keep your ears peeled, man. And y'all see how we do it, man. We just sit down here and we just kick it. If you'd like to be a part of the Retro Philosophy Show, reach out to me. I don't want to overlook anyone, and we would love to have you on the show and sit down and chop it up with you and find out what you've been doing in this beautiful world that God has created for us to have dominion over. It's your boy Retro, man, and I'm gonna get out your here. I'm gonna get out your way, man. You guys have a beautiful night, and again, thank you for always being a part of the Retro Philosophy Show.
Make sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
I don't want to be around nobody that sees my growth as competition. You waiting on my downfall. I'm praying on you to come up. We are.
Everybody be on their way. Benson, Arizona right now. Not only he riding 2 up, he riding with a trailer, and he doing an iron butt going back home. That's what I'm talking about. Good. Brotherhood, baby. Bottle tank, burn the tank. That's what you're supposed to do. Buy a tank, burn the tank. And your brothers come through your state. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Now, my turn to get back to the crib. Holla at y'all.
So you already know me and my murals. So we got this one right here, California Dreaming. You know, it is what it is. And let's get into a photo op in with the bikes. That's what it's all about, though. So check it out, man. You already know if you got any murals in your city, in your town, man, holla at your boy, man. I'm coming through and get that snapshot, get that photo op, you know what I mean? And I tell you what, man, I'll even take you out for lunch. How about that? California Dreaming.
It's our time to shine. I ain't lying. I gotta get it like I gotta. From the top all the way down to the bottom. I ain't lying, I'm just telling you the truth of it. It's our time to shine. We committed, man. It's our time to shine. If they ask me, then this what I'm replying. I ain't lying. I gotta get it like I gotta. From the top all the way down to the bottom. I ain't lying.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.